Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Inside ProCents. Today, I am honored to be with Otis McGregor. Otis McGregor is a leader, expert, author, speaker, podcast host, project management trainer, rugby coach, LTC, Special Forces, U.S. Army, retired. I don't know if he's really retired. The man doesn't stop. He's driven to creating better leaders by inspiring leaders that create better organizations. Better organizations create better communities, and better communities create a better world. And that right there is what we're trying to do here at ProSense by bringing a network of people together. Now, I know Otis for several years now. I've had the opportunity to be on his podcast about 3.5 years ago, and I'm greatly appreciated for that. But Otis
Gosh,
also,
we good to have you back. It's been that long. Ooh.
hey, I'm happy to come back anytime. Um, but Otis was also a speaker at our second annual ProCent trade show and golf tournament at Lake New Islands. So, what I thought would be important for our audience is for Otis to come on and talk about what he saw, but also what he also spoke about at that event and what can inspire a leader and maybe his vision some more. So, Otis, please, thank you so much for taking the time and tell us what your thoughts are.
Matt, thanks for having me, man. And thank you again for the platform at the ProSense Trade Show. That was awesome and an honor because, I one of my things I love to do is share what I know. And when I have an audience to share what I know with, it's great. When I have a quality audience like we had at the trade show this year, it was awesome. Right? I mean, the interactions before I gave my talk, the follow up questions. I mean, I felt like a almost celebrity esque in a weird way because I'm not used to that at all. You know me. Uh, I'm very much a behind the scenes guy. Uh, but the way everybody came up and they wanted to know more about what I said about this and what I said about that, and they were truly and genuinely interested in learning more about what I was talking about. And what I talked about was command presence and how to own that space, how to own a room, how to own a situation, and it really hit home with the folks that were there. They seemed to have gotten a lot out of it and really were thirsting for more because they saw it as a tool they could use to help themselves personally and in their business. So yeah, it was the quality, like I said, the quality of folks that were there and just the venue. I mean, I'll be honest with you, a venue's a venue, right? There can be some really crappy ones, but this was a nice one. Uh, it's I always joke about the difference between a five-star hotel and a three-star hotel, right? It's about $500. That's about it. You're still sleeping on a bed once you go to sleep.
Yeah.
We could talk about that a whole nother. We could talk about that for a longer show, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Uh, but back to that, it was great. I mean, several of the folks I'm still talking with. I mean, I feel like I've made some friends and for me in a different area, community, industry that I didn't know anybody in.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted you there is like reading your bio on your website, which everything will be linked in the description below. Um, but when you're in the military, you went from a private to what was the
Lieutenant Colonel.
lieutenant colonel, and you drove everything from a moped to a tank. I mean, you drove everything. So you actually worked with your hands. And I know you're out there in Colorado and you're a guy that loves to get out there and just work with his hands. So when people work with their hands, I think there's a camaraderie. I think there's a brotherhood and a sisterhood of people that just want to get stuff done. And when that happens, when people are wanting to get stuff done, no matter what industry it is, people find a kinship and a brotherhood that, really allows them to, find a connection that's going to allow them to further the relationship down the road. And I think from everyone that I know that was there that had a conversation with you, I know they really were thrilled with how you commanded the room. But I want you to talk just a little bit about owning the room, because that was something you talked about, was commanding a room. And obviously you don't like being front and center, but when you walk into a room, you're not a small guy. People notice you. And so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it starts with how you carry yourself, and how you carry yourself starts, even deeper with how do you think of yourself? Are you confident? Do you believe you understand who you are? What's my self-awareness, my mindfulness? How am I showing up in the moment and making the choice of how I show up? And right to the physical nature of it, if you're in that realm of confidence, generally speaking, as humans, you're going to stand up straighter. Your shoulders are going to be back, your head's going to be up, and you're going to be looking around on a swivel. And the other thing, that the physical thing that happens when you do that is, when you're standing up straight, guess what? Your lungs are able to fill to full capacity. When your head's up, your throat's not partially collapsed because you're leaning forward or anything like that. So you're getting full airflow. And when I'm getting full airflow into my lungs, I'm getting all the oxygen I can need that's getting into my bloodstream, which means all the oxygen to my brain. So now I'm fully engaged. I'm fully present, fully engaged, and confident that, hey, what's going on here? I want to solve problems. I want to help people, and I want to build relationships. When you step into a room and you have that attitude, you can own the room, and that kind of confidence.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I've always appreciated about you, and even myself. When I go to events that are not my own, um, I try to carry myself with like I own the place. Not to be have a big ego about me, but to command that presence. And people want to do business with people that are confident, that believe that they can get it done. Because there are so many people in life right now that are just doubting, that are going through as a poser. They're seeking their identity. But when you know who you are and what you can do, people want to do business with you. And I think that was one of the things that really resonated with me, plus the people there. So I greatly appreciate you echoing that. And hopefully that, continues to echo throughout the people that hear this for years and years to come.
Well, thanks. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of natural. Grew up that way. Maybe it's a little bit of the military, because the military teaches you to attack the situation,
Mhm.
and if you have to take action, then take action with violence. I joke about that, and I say that tongue in cheek, but there's a lot of truth to that violence of action and what it means. And I don't mean step into a room and start punching people. That
Yeah.
is a technique. It's a technique. I mean, the old prison gang one, pick the biggest, toughest guy out and punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that's only in the movies, folks. But in that sense of, I'm in a situation, and I have all the confidence in the world that no matter what happens, it will happen for good. And I'm going to step into it and own it.
Nice. Well, and that's what we want for everybody, is to own who they are. And when people can do that, I mean, stuff gets done. Um, you and I have a mutual friend, um, and I think he coined the phrase of "get shit doneer." Um, and that's what we're all looking for. We're looking for someone that can just get the shit done. Um, and one of the things that I love about you and just the time I've known you is everything you have attacked, you've gotten it done. You've laid out a plan. You've gone after it. You sought the opinions and advice from others that you consider an advisor or a mentor, and done that. Obviously, you have a lot of expertise, but I think there's some people that shy away from that because they're like, I don't want to expose my weakness. What do you say to those people that don't want to reach out to other people because they don't want to be viewed as weak?
What's your strength? Build on your strength. I
Yeah.
mean, and overcome that fear because nobody else sees your weakness. I mean, that's the goes back to what I said earlier about mindfulness and self-awareness. Yeah, I may think that talking on stage in front of a group of people I'm not very good at, or that I freeze up, or we're always our own worst or harshest critic in anything that we do, and I think you have to ask yourself this very simple question of how true is it?
Mhm.
And when you start to think about it in that sense, how actually true is it? Are you really would somebody have you up there talking on the stage? Would somebody, you know, be answering the phone to talk to you, or scheduling a time to talk to you, or coming up and talking to you if they didn't think that you were a capable human being, no matter what it is you're talking about? That right there, you start to ask yourself, how true is that? How true is this belief that I have that, hey, I'm no good at this, or I'm not very smart about that, or whatever,
Mhm.
because if you believe it's true, it is.
Yeah.
And if you believe it ain't, it ain't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's that's life. I was talking with a client the other day, and made mention about how good his boss is about sending these kind of emails. He's just not very good at it. And I stopped him right there. I was like, yeah, you know why you're not very good at it? Because you just said that. That's why you're not very good at it. She's not writing them any better than you.
Yeah.
You have this belief that you're not very good at it. So guess what? You're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, goes to a lot in the belief factor. When we speak it into existence, we are our greatest motivator and deterrent when it goes to getting things done. And I see that within what I do and those around me. When you start speaking about things, we all joke about social media and how we might mention something and then all of a sudden it shows up on our social media app. The same thing happens when we speak something verbally. It embeds itself in our mind. So um, when you say you're a champion or you're an author and an authority in something, you have to own that. You can't shy away from that. And I think that's what most people do is they get to a point and they are that authority, but they see someone else that might be an equal authority, but they put them on a pedestal that they do not need to be on. And then they start drawing comparisons of looking around saying, oh, they're better than me. I can't compete. And that's never the case. There hasn't been really anything that's been put in front of me that if I put my whole heart and soul into it, I haven't been able to achieve. And I know you're that same way, just looking at your resume and, also knowing members of your family and how well they're achieving. Because that's instilled from the jump. I mean, from young age all the way to old. But you've got to have that belief system. And also those people that are going to as friends, going to recognize that and kick you in the ass for saying, "Hey, don't get down on yourself. You got this. Keep moving forward." And persistence is always going to be the going to keep that cog of progress moving forward.
Yeah. And I love that persistence. I did a little, one of my whiskey words about persistence and discipline.
Yeah.
And are they separate? They're not. To spoiler alert, so when you watch it, you'll know how it comes out in the whiskey word, folks. But you cannot have persistence without discipline, and you can't be disciplined without persistence.
Yeah.
They are
Absolutely.
one and the same. So, to go back into what do you do? You have to have the confidence in yourself to admit that you don't know something, And then you also have the confidence in yourself to say, well, I can bridge this.
Mhm.
I can do this. I can take a risk. And you know what? If I work hard enough, I'll break through and figure it out.
Yeah.
That's that's the way you get to success. It's not sitting around waiting for it. It's not hoping somebody bring it to you. I mean, I've sat here in my office many times and looked out the window, and there's still not a line forming at the door. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
still not there, right? So, you got to go out and take action.
Yeah.
That's what it. Identify problems, identify things that you want to do, and then go do them. It's nobody's going to do it.
Yeah.
You're the
And,
one who can do it.
and that's absolutely right. And one of the things that I'd like to, point out is taking action is also taking responsibility in what you're able to do. And having a network of people around you that can, also help get you there. Uh, you were a guy that was in the team or, special forces. So you were not a lone operator. You were not a lone wolf out there. You had a team, and everyone on your team had a special skill set or special training that allowed them to be the expert in that. And I think that's something that we all have to look at in life that, yes, we want to be the architect of our success. And being the architect is absolutely imperative to making your vision happen, but it's also making sure that you have the right team around you that can help shed that load or, as the scripture says, burden that yoke onto another calf. So, those are a lot of things that we had to look at. So when you look at teamwork, as a from the special forces to more recently as a rugby coach, where does the teamwork in identifying those players fall for you and making things happen? Because I know you're working on a project now. I'm not asking you to talk about it, but you've put a team around you to help make sure that you get these things done because there are nuances to everything that we need a little help in. So, what are your thoughts on building a team?
Well, you have to have a clear understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. So, go back to the why do you need a team? Well, you need a team to solve complex problems, right? Because as an individual, you can't do it yourself. So you need a team to solve a complex problem. Well, what is that problem? So what's the purpose of the team? And then, okay, so what does the team activities need to be? What do the capabilities need to be? And then here's something. So that's like the, kind of the academics. But the thing that nobody or rarely people talk about is, well, what's the chemistry of the team? What's the culture of the team? Is really chemistry in sports, culture in business. And what's that look like? Well, that evolves out of the purpose of having the team and the values, because the values are the foundation that helps to create the culture. The people and the personalities that are within the team create the culture, but as the leader, the values help drive who those people are, what they are like, because the people, the personalities fit in. And if you've done your homework and you've prepared and you know what your values are, you know what your organizational values are, and you know what the purpose of the organization, the team is, then you're going to start to identify people who align with that.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to create the culture. If you go and hire somebody based on a specialty skill, and no other reason. He may be the greatest 5/8 inch nut turner in the world. Uh, you know, but if he doesn't fit in your team, then it's not going to work, and it's going to be a problem. It will cause a problem. I don't care how good he can turn that nut.
Yeah.
You know, I always go back to this Bo Schembechler story when he was coaching at the University of Michigan. And somebody asked him, a press reporter asked him about a blue chipper that he failed to recruit. like a great running back. Let's just say this awesome running back. Schembechler didn't recruit him into Michigan, and guess where he ended up? Ohio State. And the reporter said, "Hey, coach, how come you didn't work harder to get little Johnny, the blue chipper, on your team?" And Schembechler looked back at the reporter and said, "He's at Ohio State. He has the opportunity to beat us once a year, twice in a bowl game. If he was on our team, he'd beat us every day." That's what culture is. That's really what culture means. Because just because the dude may be the best running back in the country does not mean he's a fit for your team. Mm-hmm. See, that baseball is a great base. Life imitates baseball. Wow, I just drew a blank on his name. I got like 2 or 3 of his books. Yogi Berra.
Okay.
Yogi Berra said that life imitates baseball, and along with many other great quotes. But what that means is that the way a baseball team performs is much more than the talent. The 700 and when he gets 765 million for 15 years.
Oh, the most recent contract for what was it,
Yeah.
Soto?
Yeah, Soto, that's it. Osvaldi Soto, and then his name.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. But if it's not the right fit, the team ain't going to win. You're just going to be paying a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Rodriguez, the guy who the Texas Rangers years ago paid 25 mil to. That lasted about 2 years, and they realized he wasn't a good fit for the team.
Yeah,
they traded him to the Yankees, where that was a much better fit.
Yeah.
So, kind of wandered off into
baseball. Well, I love it. Well, and whether it be baseball, football, I'm a big race car guy. So anything that you're looking at a team, and you have to have a culture, whether it be your business or sports. I mean, we can find something to resonate with on that. So, and culture, team, environment. Again, if you have a cancer within your team, it's going to wipe you out. And I think it's good to identify those things. But I think, how do you identify those things in a short period of time? And I think for me, self-promotion, that's why we're putting together ProCents, is so you can meet these people on a regular basis and figure out who's going to be best to help you grow your business. Maybe not work for your business, but to collaborate with and lean on. And that's what people have done with you from this past event, is they're leaning on you because they're seeing that you demand presence, and you carry yourself with confidence, and that you can deliver on what you say you're going to do, which makes all the difference in the world. So I want to, give you a little bit more time here as we wrap this up. But your hat, it says Tribe and Purpose. I happen to have one of those, so thank you so much for that. But talk a little bit about Tribe and Purpose, Green Beret Leadership Program, and then also your fractional seat. Is it CFO?
COO.
COO. Because I want people to know how they can, work with you to better their business, and then also, if they just need to reach out and figure out what are the next steps, they can do that for you.
Awesome. Yeah. So our landing page is 10xyourteam.net. And on that page, you'll see 3 areas that we help people become great leaders. Our first one is our do-it-yourself. You mentioned our podcast. We have on our YouTube channel, 10x Your Team. We also share several leadership lessons, to include a weekly live that I do on leadership lessons. Monthly. And then also you'll find my whiskey words on there, where I am sharing some of my philosophy on life and business. So that's our DIY. You'll see it labeled The Show. And then our system which is our done with you, is our leadership development system. And what that is we help develop leaders. We've taken what I've learned in 25 years as a Green Beret, 15 years as a business leader, entrepreneur, business team member, you name it, all levels, all sizes of business. And we've put that into a development system to create leaders in your team and help them become great leaders, because leading leaders is a much better way, because leaders bring you solutions, not problems.
That's right.
Finally, our done for you is our fractional COO. And what our fractional COOs do is they work with that CEO founder of a small business that has found himself all of a sudden so tied to the day-to-day operations to keep things going in day-to-day operations that the business has stopped growing. And what our fractional COO does is they come in, they take that over, they help ensure that your business has the processes, systems, capabilities, and right personnel in the right seats, and the culture to launch you to that next level of growth. And in doing that, they free up that CEO founder to do what he does best, better than anybody in the company, which is get out and sell that business so that it'll start growing again. So those are our three ways to help grow great leaders and fulfill our purpose. That's all at 10xyourteam.net. Go to our YouTube channel and sign up, subscribe. And then if you really want to get into it, subscribe to my Monday Moments newsletter also. So there's a lot of ability out there for you to learn it on your own, that you can do the lifting. We're providing the information.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about it is there's so much information out there, but people just don't know where to go. And that's what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we put this in the link at the bottom of the video and in the descriptions on our social media page, whether it be LinkedIn or Facebook, so people can get connected with you. Otis, man, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. It means the world to me that you would take time out of your day to do this. So thank you so much. And is there anything that you'd like to close us out with before I close us out?
Live your life with purpose and intention.
All right.
And thank you for having me, Matt. Always a
Absolutely.
pleasure to hang out and chat.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for everyone taking time out of your busy day to watch this. Hopefully, you've gotten something out of this here. That nuggets are going to give you that 1% better opportunity to succeed at everything that you want to do. And if you're not sure on how to succeed, reach out to myself, Otis, or our team, and we're going to help you make that happen. Again, ProCents is all about the connections. So we look forward to seeing you on the next Inside ProCents. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you then.